welcome back to my YouTube channel. It's your girl Esther #Goose. As you can see today, I'm here with this gorgeous lady, and we're just going to introduce herself. Hi, welcome to my YouTube channel. Just tell us who you are.
Hi, my love. It's an honor to be here. My name is Tapiwa Lapidos, the Oremtwabi on Instagram.
Alright, Tapiwa, please tell us what you're currently doing and how old are you?
So I am a 20-year-old Swati queen.
Queen!
And I'm studying international relations and political science. So I'm an educated queen.
You heard that, educated. Alright, so we're jumping in right to the next question. What is the meaning of transgender? I understand that people don't even know what it actually means. For example, for myself, it took me a while before I could actually know what transgender, if the word even exists. So what is transgender?
Well, I feel as though the definition of transgender and LGBTI community has been stretched, especially in more accepting countries like America. But for me personally, transgender means transitioning gender. So it is transitioning one's biological sex, how they were born, to the gender that they identify with. So being born male, transitioning into a woman with the gender that I identify with is my definition of.
I hope you guys heard that. Do not listen to what social media is saying, because someone will wake up one morning and be like, I'm transgender, because they want to feel like a female today and tomorrow they want to feel like a male.
Let's not confuse cross-dressing with transgender, or feminine flamboyant gay men with transgender. Let's not,
Hope you got that. When did you realize, or when did you know that you're becoming girly or you're becoming a female, if I'm putting it that way?
Great question. For me, I feel as though it's when did I accept that I'm transgender, because the journey of being transgender is a lot of personal fights that I have to get through and accept, especially because of society, family, and expectations. So I accepted myself as transgender in 2017, not so long ago. But I've always known I was different. I've always known that I was not a boy. I've always known that I was not like all the other boys. Since preschool, funnily enough.
Wow, that's an early realization. That is very deep, because there's a difference between actually knowing than accepting, because most people do not accept who they really are. So they have that battle each day and night, trying to find themselves. But I'm actually really glad that you got to finally accept who you are. What did your parents say concerning this whole situation, this transformation?
My parents, they have been accepting to an extent. I think also with a lot of influence from what other people are going to feel, from society, from expectations. My mom, I think always the moms are the ones that always, end up being the most accepting. My mom is somewhat accepting compared to my dad. My mom is definitely in the journey with me to an extent. But yeah, I think that's still, for most transgender people, I assume parental acceptance is really hard. So I've gotten a bit of that. So I'm grateful for the little acceptance that I've gotten with my transition.
That's actually nice. Knowing my parents, being the African parents they are, they'll probably take me, I don't know, to where, and just, assuming that there's something deeply wrong, take me to all the pastors in the world.
I know. I mean, don't get me wrong. It was a journey in its own. I definitely experienced the whole telling me, no, this is not you, or don't be like this, or I definitely experienced those pressures, as much as they may want to be in denial. But I definitely did experience that. So even that was, it wasn't easy. So it wasn't easy getting to the whole supporting stage. As much as supportive as she is now, it wasn't easy getting to that. So we're still growing together.
That's really nice. I'm just glad that they accepted you, because I'm sure some other people they get kicked out of their family members, like nobody talks to them anymore.
50% of transgender, somewhere estimately 50% end up homeless when they come out, or it's okay.
What did your friends say? Like, I know that, for example, this is your friend, and your friend, they're growing up with you, they know you as this person, and then all of a sudden, this transformation, did you lose friends? And like, how was the whole experience with your friendship?
With friendships was a big journey. I think throughout finding who I am and coming to accept myself as a transgender woman, I lost a lot of friends. I lost a lot of male friends. I lost a lot of family. Especially my friends that were with me in primary school. I think for them it was a hard adjustment, because now they had to change what they view me as, because now I'm a woman, and they grew up with me as a boy. They have to change their perspectives, they have to change their pronouns, they have to adjust with me, and I guess it's just hard for them, because it's a hard journey for me alone.
True.
So I can imagine how hard it was for them. So most of them have definitely gone on board, and I'm grateful for all of them that have been there throughout, and
we out here.
you being one of them.
We out there. Because I remember the first time, like, because it was on Instagram, that you texted me like, oh girl, I've done it. I'm like, done what? And then you started explaining, and for a second I was like, all right, okay, oh wow, like, wow, how, like, this is really interesting, and I just couldn't wait to meet with you and talk about it.
She is not highlighting how she was a little bit against initially, but as we've seen, I appreciate the friends that made an effort in joining me in this journey. So
Alright. Do you feel accepted by society, especially where we are right now, let's just say in this country, because this is where you spend most of your time? Do you feel accepted by the people of the country?
Wow, it's a really, it hits home. Unfortunately, Africa is not as liberal and as progressive with understanding LGBTI issues. So definitely within Eswatini, I am not accepted. I'm not recognized. There's still battles that I have to deal with. As much as I may be fully transitioned, or whatever level in transition I am, there's still a lot of battles that I had, like changing gender and passports, dealing with healthcare, dealing with getting my medication for the transition, because it's not just, so there's not a lot of awareness. But I think the LGBTI community within Eswatini is growing, and we are here, we are apparent, we exist, and we have just as much rights as anyone else. We should have. But so not so much, but with time.
I think with time, since like we're evolving, Vision 2022, hopefully we'll get there to
and the
where
exposure.
And
exposure. People speaking out about it, like ESGM, is a movement that's there. So definitely platforms to push for it.
So what are people's reaction like when you go somewhere and you meet someone? Because I know you're very outspoken and you're not shy about anything, and you obviously tell people the first thing, even on your Instagram page you have it there that you are trans. So what are people's reaction when you tell them? Do they even know what it is? Like, how do they react?
I feel as though every trans person is entitled to their identity, and they don't have to tell everyone. But for me, because of where I live in Africa, in Swaziland, in Eswatini, me being open about it is for my own safety. From personal experiences, people not knowing that I'm trans has led into discrimination and all of that. So I don't really like opening out about it, but I have to. And the reactions I get with that are mixed. Some people are like, wow, I didn't know, which I'm humbled by. as insecure as I am. And a lot of people end up, some people end up reacting negatively towards it because of biases or ignorance or expectations that they have, thinking, yabona, me being transgender means, I'm flighty or I'm out there or I'm extra or whatever the case may be, these negative connotations, which people learn is not all the way true. But yeah, so generally people end up accepting, but reactions can be negative also at the same time. Yeah, definitely.
I think they'll just get used to it, as time
They
goes
must.
on.
I
they have no choice.
No.
You have no choice, guys. You have to get used to the queen.
Come now,
just look at this. Anyways, I know a lot of viewers are just wondering, like, what made you take this decision? What made you go through, what clicked in your mind, okay, I have to do this, I have to do this.
Yeah.
Or why,
And not worry about what people are gonna say, and just be me authentically. I want to give a big shout out to the OG up there. The OG up there. Because one thing sure, God has really guided me through a lot of the journey that I've been in. As much as my spirituality has been a battle because of me being trans and me drifting away from God and all of that, but God has definitely been there, and I think me feeling acceptance from Him is what made me stronger to accept myself, regardless of what anyone is gonna say, regardless of whether my family is going to have an issue, regardless of whether the society, the danger I may be in, regardless of school and all the drama that comes with transitioning. I think I'm grateful to Him being there to hold my hand through it.
Amen. Amen.
My own testimony.
All thanks go to God.
All thanks. Amen.
I know it was just a little bit hard, after you got your organs, changed. How did you come out after that transition? Because I know most people knew that, okay, you're still intact, and then all of a sudden, so did you just one day just go around telling everybody, or how did the news come out?
So with being transgender, I think we should not have this expectation that people have gone through the surgeries, because the surgeries are expensive. Places which are more liberal, like the States, offer it for free, with governance and insurance and all of that. So in Africa, it's very hard to fully transition and do all the surgeries, let alone get hormones and get the prescriptions, because you have to go through psychological evaluations. So it's very hard in Africa. So do not ask any transgender person if they've had surgeries, because it is an emotional thing, because as much as some people want to have the surgeries, they cannot afford it. And they don't have the resources. So I honestly have not really told anyone whether I've had surgeries or not, and I'd like to keep it anonymous. You can think whatever you like to think. But yeah, I think it's not a coming out. I just show up, you see how I am, you accept it, you move on.
We move on.
Only my man knows. Only my man knows.
I was just about to ask you if you're single.
The queen is never single, but men are trash.
I didn't see that coming. Okay. I'm just gonna skip that. I'll just pretend that this didn't happen. Okay, it never happened. It never happened. All right. I asked a few people to also pop in some questions, and one of the questions I got was so what is written on your birth certificate now, on your documentation? Is it written a female or a male, or what is written there?
As I've touched on, it is Swaziland is not as progressive, so I cannot, as much as I've transitioned, I cannot legally change my birth certificate or gender ID to female. As much as when I go into revenue, everyone says CC and sees me as female. But when I give in my ID, that's when the discrimination comes in, because I cannot change it. So yeah, that's an uphill battle. I mean, once, imagine at an airport, they were like, this is not you. Why does it say male? With my father there next to me. This is not you. So yeah, it's hard, but you know, you have to make the most of it.
I can't even imagine what you go through every day.
Every day.
Going through that, when especially in an airport, like you have to travel, and then there's that dispute about your sexuality. It's like, guys, come on,
What's
because the
going
face
on?
is the same thing. I mean, we don't. Why so many questions?
You know.
But I'm just glad that you're going through this, and you've got me.
Thank you, my love.
Right. All right. Another thing that people would love to know is, like, do you regret doing?
No, 100%. Me accepting myself and me pushing my own transition is something that has really given me a whole lot of more purpose in this world. Accepting myself gave me purpose, so I could never regret. I don't see how someone can transition and regret it, because I feel like transitioning is hard in its own.
Yeah.
So you wouldn't transition if you knew wholeheartedly that this is me and I'm willing to deal with all the bullshit.
That's true.
That comes with it, to accept myself. So, yeah.
All right. Another question is it hard for most transgender people to get jobs, to get recognized? Because you know how people are just stereotyped, and they're just like, no, we can't hire you because of this and this. We can't do this. Do you experience that?
Wholeheartedly, especially in Eswatini. I think because of the ID thing, it makes it a lot harder, because now handing in documents, handing in, all of those legal things that say your identity, that's when the discrimination comes. So there's a lot of stigma behind hiring someone that is transgender or gay, or if they come out as gay or openly gay. There is definitely a lot of stigma, and people find it hard to get jobs. The whole lot.
Yeah, it can be really hard.
Really challenging.
Another question they have for you is, can you have children of your own?
I think that is one question that a lot of African parents, when dealing with being LGBTI, they bring up. I want kids. I want grandchildren. Grandchildren. Thank God for me that before starting hormones and actually processing my transition, I took the steps to save, because if you're trans, you need to save your sperm or your eggs before you transition.
Okay.
So they're at a fertility clinic, so I can have my own biological children. Can have, although I cannot have them naturally, because regardless of whether I have all the surgeries or not, I do not have a uterus. I cannot have a uterus. But in the next 10 years, I'm sure maybe uterus transplants may be an option in the next 10, 15 years.
You never know.
You may never know. Maybe, Kim Kardashian preggy outside.
Okay. All right. Another thing people love to know is, what do the hormones actually help in? What are hormones? Let's start with yes. And what do they help in? What do they do in your body? Like, and how often do you take them?
So hormones are basically the start of my transition. So I need, because when you're born male or female, you have your hormones. Male testosterone, majoritively female estrogen. So me getting on hormones is to now correct that hormonal issue within my, to help me transition. So my hormones are estrogen. I take estrogen and spironolactone, which is a testosterone blocker, which blocks my natural testosterone that comes in my body. Hormones help you transition, basically.
I was gonna try and repeat those hard English words you use, but I'm not gonna try to do that because I'm gonna bite my tongue. So let me just leave it and just go to the next question before I start insulting test. Anyways, let's leave that.
2-minute notes. Also with the hormones, it's forever. It's a forever thing. I take them forever, and I take them every day. I take them every single day. Yeah.
Wait, are they expensive? They
are. Unfortunately, because in Africa there's not much, as I've said, exposure, acceptance. It comes out of my own cost, and it's around. It can be 1,000 rand a month, just hormones alone.
Wow.
So for the rest of my life, that's my debt.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, that's a lot.
Yeah, so think about people that don't have support, that don't have the jobs
Mm-hmm.
because of all the issues that come with being trans. It's really hard.
And like, do you get affected if you skip a day without taking them?
Yes, your moods. I can get really moody, or I can get moody, or I can start feeling the testosterone come back in, and that will create issues with my dysphoria, feeling like, you know, I mean, my body's not my body. And you did ask me, what do they do? So hormones grow my boobies, they grow my boobs. They feminize, they basically feminize my body. They make me more woman, but they don't do any big changes like surgeries or anything like that. They just add all the things that, you know, naturally create a woman's body. You know?
As you can see, her boobs, they're probably even bigger than mine.
Oh my god!
So what are the advantages and the disadvantages of being trans? Basically, this is almost the same question, but are there like any advantages? Like if somebody is out there and, you know, and is thinking about doing it, but just need that push, that encouragement, like that, those advantages, like what are the advantages and the disadvantages also?
So I guess let me start with disadvantages, because there are more disadvantages than there are advantages. Disadvantages, you could lose family, you could lose friends, you can get killed. Yeah. That's something that's really serious. 34 trans women in America have been killed. Wow. You know, so just imagine, it's really scary because it becomes a safety issue. So yeah, those are all the disadvantages with it, and also your own journey and your own, you know, acceptance of yourself is hard. Advantages though, I don't think there are really much advantages other than, you know, that acceptance of yourself and that wholehearted contentment, you know, that feeling content and that no one can touch you because I am who I am, you know, unapologetically. So I think that's definitely something, an advantage, I guess, with accepting yourself as transgender. Yeah.
Alright, the next question is please show us some of your pictures while you're still a guy, but that I will insert the pictures.
Oh no! Exposure! Talk about exposing me.
We'll insert the pictures so you can see before and after. Like, this is a, guys, this is a queen. This is a queen. Like, anyways, wait for the pictures. The next question, do some people still address you as a he? And how do you feel about it?
I think people address me as he, whether it's my family that hasn't accepted it, which is a strain and a half. But I tend to avoid people that are not on board, because I mean, I've kind of transitioned now for a while. I mean, I think everyone has taken enough time to adjust, as much as they may still be on their own journey. But yeah. So definitely from family members that haven't fully adjusted, from the public when if they assume, because of, you know, different reasons, if they may assume, which doesn't happen too often, or from long-time friends that haven't seen me in a while. Like, and this other time I saw my old teacher who hadn't seen me in a while and didn't even recognize me. She was saying she, and oh my gosh, you're gorgeous, and look at this beautiful girl. And then I told her who I was, and then she's like, oh my god, he. And then the he came out. And I was like, you were right the first time.
Yeah.
You were right the first time. But yeah, so it's not as common, but unfortunately it will happen in every transgender's life, being misgendered. Yeah. Especially in Africa with documents.
True.
Yeah, and all of that, and stigma towards people saying, you know, I don't believe in transitioning, which it's real, it happens, we are here.
Alive and living, you know.
And obviously it makes me feel really upset. It definitely creates dysphoria. You know, it creates insecurities, you know, it creates this, you know, it just makes my transition, which is already hard, all the more harder.
Yeah. And all you guys, and this is just love and acceptance by society and everybody. People will call you your friends. Like, they have to accept, because like there's no turning back at this point. Like, there's literally no turning back. So viewers at home, please, you need to accept, you need to love and stop judging, because you don't even know what the person has gone through. Like, you know, you don't know the sleepless night people go through and what they achieve at the end, and you're just out there judging and being rude. I mean, it doesn't kill you to be kind, you know. It just doesn't kill you. It doesn't take out money from your bank account just to be kind to somebody. Uh,
or just to take initiative to research. The information is there. There are many of us that live amongst, a lot of us live amongst each other, like, and people don't know. They live in stealth. It's called stealth because of the discrimination and the misgendering that happens when people know. So not everyone is open about it as much as I am. So yeah, just if you ever find a new topic or a new word or a new medical condition that you don't understand, research, guys.
Please.
Research. Google is not far away.
Make use of Google.
Make use.
Google.
Or come watch this YouTube video.
Exactly. Make use of it. I'm sure viewers want to know of an incident that happened in your life that whereby you were mistreated or
Oh my gosh.
whereby you were mistreated by anybody, but no name callings, but just tell us an incident so that
we won't drop names.
Yeah. Because wow.
Oh my gosh. I guess every transgender has had their fair share of negative experiences, but I definitely have experienced people going out of their way to out me publicly, which puts me in very dangerous positions, as I've said. Stigma, and people have died from this. And people going out of their way to out me. As much as I'm open about it, somewhat, yeah, so those experiences have been hard. I've definitely been in issues where my safety has almost been compromised. Yeah, and I felt as though this is going to be my last day on earth, all because I'm transgender, because someone just doesn't want to accept, who you are. Yeah, so I definitely have been in those. The bus rank for a while. The bus rank for a while is a challenge on its own.
So what happens when you're in the bus rank? What do people say?
I think also, because I'm open, a lot of people will know, so then people will start talking and being like, that's the transgender one, or
And apparently, I think you're the only one in Eswatini who is trans that I know. I haven't met.
There is a well, not large, but there is a community.
Oh wow!
There is a community of LGBTI in every part of the world, every part of the world, including Eswatini.
Wow.
We exist. We are here. I'm not the only transgender. As I've said, a lot of us live in stealth.
Yeah.
There are transgender men, who were women before and are now fully men, and you'd never know.
Wow.
Yeah, so we are there.
Guys, as you have heard, if you have any questions that you'd love to ask, because we're going to do a part 2 of this with your questions, so just pop them under the comments below. Like this video, subscribe guys.
Subscribe to this YouTube channel.
With more juice and more stories and more experience. Like she'll tell us like the stories that has happened, because there are a lot of things that has happened in her life, how people have treated her, how she actually got picked up and being dropped somewhere. I know all of the stories, but watch out for part 2. Thank you very much, Tapiwa, for coming out and just this is a huge step. Most people wouldn't do this, and just like you say, because for their safety and because of what society thinks, so they wouldn't come out like this. Thank you so much for doing this with me. We love you guys. Stay tuned for part 2.
Please share the video, guys. Share on all social media platforms. Let's get people educated and aware and expose them to people that exist. And
yes,
we can live amongst each other.
Trans life matters, guys.
They do. Trans lives matter.